but now we're recording on YouTube. Getting good at this, aren't I?
Ooh, on YouTube.
Remembering to record both ways. Great. Welcome to another episode. For those on the audio, you will have heard me oohing and ahhing over Leo, who's fast asleep. Sorry, YouTube, you missed out. Unless you see him later, maybe. So I'm joined by another special guest speaker today. How are we doing, Kim?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a lovely sunny day.
Isn't it?
To be out there training, really.
Well, I'll be checking in on you.
I know.
It's nice and warm, but it's bloody cold still. I don't know where you are.
I think that's just you up in Buxton. Probably. It's definitely several degrees cooler up there when I come up there. It's lovely here today in Stafford.
Yeah, it probably is. Sat on the top of a hill, it's exposed to the elements. That's probably half the reason. Right, who are you? What do you do? Tell us it all.
Oh, tell you everything. Okay, well, I'm Kim. I'm nearly 60 and I'm an ex-nurse. So I was a nurse for 40 years and suffered with a health complaint for about 15, which gives me arthritis. It's caused a heart complaint. I've got stomach issues and things. And I had a very, very low patch where I was diagnosed with an enlarged heart with a leaking mitral valve, and it made me feel really vulnerable. So as a result of that, we decided to cut my working hours in half. So basically I went fully half time. So it seemed like a great time to get a dog. And as it happened, at that very moment in time, when I was at my lowest, a friend of mine who's a local farmer, her lovely Labrador was having pups. So we thought, oh, maybe it is the right time. And everything seemed to align. And Leo was born on Clive's birthday. And that sort of clinched the deal, really. We went up to see them when they were 4 days old, and I visited them every week until he came home. And this little dog, well, he's a bloody big dog now, 35 kilograms of pure muscle, became my constant little companion and my confidant and my crutch, really, and made me go out, because you can't just keep a dog indoors. So I'd become a bit of a recluse, didn't want to go out, was too anxious to go out. And I found it really difficult to force myself to do anything. I was frightened I was going to have a heart attack or something while I was out, and nobody would know, and it was just a really frightening thought. And it got to the point where it wasn't just the fact that I was feeling unwell. I was overly anxious. It was ridiculously anxious, just about setting foot outside the front door. So I figured that I needed to address it, and I addressed it by getting a dog who was going to make me go out at least 3 times a day. And he did the trick, and he's just been, he was my lifesaver, really. I would have been doolally and a shadow of my former self if he hadn't have come along when he did. Oh. So he sadly got attacked when he was about 18 months old by a Jack Russell who jumped off a canal boat when we were walking one afternoon, and it just ran up behind us. I didn't see it coming. I couldn't alert him because he was ahead of me, and it bit him on the backside, and it didn't do a load of damage, but it really damaged his confidence. And from that moment on, he started to be quite wary of other dogs. We saw, oh gosh, I've lost count of how many people we saw trainer wise to try and address it in the early stages. And one of those trainers suggested that he needed to build up his confidence around other dogs, and it might be a good idea to have another dog. So we got another dog, Charlie, who is a rescue spaniel, a working cocker. And she was very shut down when we got her. She didn't know what toys were. She didn't know how to play. She was very subdued. She was 14 months old at the time, so not much younger than Leo. But she soon came out of her shell, and she's quite the live wire now, with training issues of her own. So we have had one-to-one sessions with Leo's reactivity. We even went away for a week boot camp because of the reactivity has got worse and worse, because he is quite or he can be quite frightened of other dogs, and it was exacerbated by the fact that the two of them, both Leo and Charlie, were attacked on a Boxing Day walk by two off-lead Staffordshire Bull Terriers. Charlie didn't get injured at all, but Leo did. Leo had to see emergency vet on Boxing Day afternoon for a rip tear and a puncture wound on his side. And since then, he's just been crazy reactive to dogs, some particular dogs. It's not all dogs, which makes it a little bit difficult to manage, because if it was all dogs, I'd avoid all dogs. But sometimes he's absolutely fine. So and you never quite know. And he's fine one day, but then he might not be the next. So it's been very difficult to manage. So we booked on a 10-hour boot camp. We went away on holiday in a cottage and went to this training boot camp. They gave us loads of good ideas of how to sort of help get him engaged in games and things, but it didn't really get at the root of the problem. So we've been floundering for such a very long time. It must be it's over 2 years now, until I found Claire on Facebook. Found your barking dog challenge and loose lead walking challenge, and that's another of our issues. He's so alert at the environment that he's always wants to be ahead and see what's coming. So loose lead walking was an impossibility for us, which is ever so difficult for me with arthritis and this health condition, because I sometimes haven't got the strength to hold him in my hands. So I tend to have him strapped to my waist as well as having a lead, and it's led to us ending up in the gutter a few times because he's a strong dog, and I have been pulled over and injured on more than one occasion. So it's really time to get this sorted, and hopefully now we're on the right track, aren't we, Claire?
Yes, well, it's looking that way, isn't it? And you're still quite early in your sessions with myself, aren't you? But
yeah,
went through, well, we'll maybe come on to that in a minute. So you found some story, by the way, blimey.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing that you kind of got Leo to help yourself, because they've just got such a magical way, haven't they, of just helping us as much as we help them. I just he
totally gave me my confidence back, because I would come home at lunchtime every day, because I was only working half days. I would come home at lunchtime, stick on the boots, come rain or shine, and we'd get out and we'd go for walks over the fields. We were walking 3 miles a day at least, playing in the stream. He loves swimming, he loves chasing sticks, and we just had a rare old afternoon every afternoon. And it helped me get fitter. It also keeps me moving, because with arthritis, if you just sit and do nothing, you get stiffer and stiffer and your joints get worse. So it's important to keep mobile. So he was the sort of guiding or the factor that just keeps me moving and keeps me doing things. And he was just my little savior. And it breaks my heart now that he's in such a state that he is so upset when he goes outside, or can get so upset when he's outside, when actually he was helping me to get back out there. So it's a bit of a frustration.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, because I went through very similar with Titan, and it kind of felt like you could almost go anywhere and everywhere with the dog, and then when their confidence goes, it kind of strips away at yours as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because I'm constantly looking around corners and anticipating a dog's going to appear, even if there isn't one, and so I'm on edge, and that transmits to him, and then he's more on edge. I mean, we used to have the most lovely walks. We used to drive over to Wales for to Talacra Beach and just let him off the lead, and he was great with other dogs. His recall was great, and we would just have an absolute whale of a time, and it just has all gone to shit. So it's just I mean, I laugh, but it's ever so frustrating, because we want to have those nice days out again, obviously when we can't at the moment, so everybody's in the same boat, but I want that carefree, happy-go-lucky dog back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's I forgot what I was going to say then, but I kind of got taken away by the Talacra Beach part, but just
it's fabulous there. Have you been?
I love it there. Yeah. It's massive, isn't it? Sorry, I got sidetracked by that.
It is. It's fantastic. It's one of our favourite walks over there.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get over soon. And,
yeah, fingers crossed.
brilliant stuff. So let's come back to you've been on my email list for a while, hadn't you? And then you
Yes.
found about the lucid walking challenge. Do you want
Yeah,
to
I'd seen you in Rachel Spencer's group, because she supports lots of different pet professionals, whether you're in the making industry like me, providing products, or you services. And I'd seen your book, I'd got your book. I bought your book, and then I'd seen you pop up, and I thought, you know what, Claire, you're about an hour away, an hour and a bit's drive away, and I thought, well, that's just about manageable. Maybe, just maybe, Claire can help. And then all of a sudden, you were doing a free challenge on Facebook. So I thought, okay, well, let's try that first, see what it's all about, see if Claire's going to be the right fit for us. And you were, because you're so down to earth. You'd call a spade, very much like me. You don't mind if I am blind. so I don't know, it just felt like the right fit when we did the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we've ended up in your evolution group and your elite group.
Yeah, you're a fully fledged member now, aren't you?
Yeah, because I'm absolutely determined I'm going to make a difference to this dog, and I can't do it by myself. And I've come to the conclusion with everything that I do, whether it's business or hobbies or whatever, if you don't know something, you find an expert and you do what they tell you, which is what I did with Rachel, with her PR work. Found an expert in Rachel and then follow what she said to the letter, and I got some really, really good PR. So it figures that you follow that through in every area where you've got gaps in your knowledge. So I'm not a dog trainer by any means. I mean, I can't even choreograph getting up and down the stairs without incident, never mind choreograph moves, getting dogs to heel and treating and moving your leg at the right time and getting the tail end in. So, it's not something that comes naturally to me. So, I need an expert giving me the guidance.
You're in the right hand, that's for sure.
I know.
What was I going to say? So during that challenge, how did you find it when faced with Leo's behavior? Like, if we come back to before you did any training as such with me, how did it feel for you? What was sort of the experience that you were dealing with
on a daily basis? Well, we were walking two dogs. So my husband would take them both out in the morning. We would go out together in an afternoon, and then he would probably nip them round the block at night. Because at the time I was struggling quite a bit with my joint pains. So I was only really doing the afternoon walk. And we'd had a number of horribly embarrassing occurrences where he'd seen a dog at a distance, and then all of a sudden it wasn't at a tolerable distance, and he would go absolutely ape, leaping around. Couldn't control him, could hardly hang on to him, couldn't turn him around. His feet were planted on the ground, and he was just barking and growling like an absolute maniac. And he would look like a dangerous dog, and he certainly sounds like a dangerous dog because he's got a really deep, low growl and bark. So people with smaller dogs obviously think, oh my God, look at her, she can't control that dog, and doesn't he look aggressive? What if he bites? And I think, well, he isn't going to bite, but just give us a bit of space. So it was, every day was a stress, because I would envisage that at some point on that walk, on his afternoon, time out, we would come across something that would tip him over the edge. And it became a real trial, and I would dread it every day. And the trouble is, Charlie began to work with him. She's not fazed by other dogs at all. We can walk her anywhere. She doesn't pay them any attention whatsoever, unless she's with Leo. And she's got eyes like a bloody bat, or she can spot things miles away that he wouldn't even look at or flinch at. She spots it and she'll bark, and she alerts him, and then he kicks off. So she's like adding fuel to she's like lighting the touch paper and then watching him go. So it just became an intolerable situation, because she'd be barking, he'd be barking, and it does my head in. It absolutely does my head in. Just the noise does my head in, never mind wrestling with a 35-kilogram dog. So it's just been so stressful for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we learned all about the cortisol levels and the fact that if you've had a hoo-ha with another dog, you need to give them time out. But I don't think we ever appreciated how long it takes for them to decompress. And it was the challenge that got that across to me, because you kept saying to me, just stay in the garden, just stay in the garden. And we did. I mean, we're faced with the problem with him that he won't go to the toilet in the garden. So I do have to take him out early, very early doors and late, to make sure he's able to go to the toilet, because he certainly won't go in the day during in the garden. So that's been quite problematic for us. But I would say that the staying in the garden bit really took the pressure off him, and it took the pressure off me. I've had really bad knees for 18 months. I've been waiting for a steroid injections into my knees since before the first lockdown. And because I've got Baker's cysts at the back of both knees, and I was in absolute agony walking him, and the twisting and the pulling was just making things 10 times worse. So staying in the garden, not only did it chill him out and chill me out, it actually helped my knees, so much so that my knee pain is virtually resolved.
Wow.
Well, yeah, which is unbelievable. I mean, I was limping and staggering around the place for over 12 months. And then we started this challenge, and we were decompressing in the garden, and I was just standing still, really, telling him to do things, or just walking very slowly, getting him to walk to heel. So there was no pressure being exerted on my knees, no pulling factor or anything. So we've both really benefited from these months in the garden, just playing and training.
There you go, guys. Dog trainer cross physio. Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Did you find it strange, like not going out for a walk? I know you said about the pressures, but was there a part of you where you kind of felt like, oh no, the dog needs walking?
I do. Yeah, I did feel bad, because I know how much he loves his walks. And it wasn't the fact that he needed it. It was the fact that we would walk to the stream, and he absolutely loves to swim and retrieve things from the water. So I felt like I was depriving him from the fun that he has. But it's a nightmare to walk there, and it's a nightmare to walk back. So a bit later on, when we started moving out of the garden, I started to drive to places rather than walk to places, so we could avoid possible conflicts, because there's a lot of dogs in the village. A lot of them he's absolutely fine with, but I can't guarantee it. But to make it as risk-free as possible, I started to drive to places and then walk, which also helped a lot, actually. And I hadn't thought about that before. It's stupid. It's such a simple thing to do, to drive to somewhere, to get out of your hot seat into somewhere a little bit calmer. I don't know why it didn't occur to me before, but it didn't for some reason.
Sometimes I think you can be so clouded in, and like the issue itself, that kind of, that's certainly how I felt. You know, I did the same with Titan. I've got to get him used to other dogs.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel that you have to either continue as normal or take them to places full of it, really. But
yeah, I mean, there was probably a bit of me thinking, well, today might, the hopeful bit of me, today might be all right. Today it might, I might be able to distract him, or I might be able to turn him round, or I might be able to be more entertaining than barking at that dog. But I never quite managed it. So every day it was a bit of a letdown. I was thinking, shit, I've been rubbish at this again. I haven't been able to contain him. I haven't been able to help him. He's barked his head off. Now he's, all his hair's on end, and his tail's like a ramrod straight at the back. And I'm thinking, bloody hell, he's gonna take ages to calm down now. So, something as simple as driving out of the village, that was a big takeaway from the challenge. I mean, it's ridiculous. Why didn't I think of it myself?
Bless you. I remember you getting a couple of wins with him where Like obviously in the early stages we need to condition the alternative response, if you like, but at the same time we kind of have to jump in and help the dog, don't we, if you're in the shit basically. And I remember you sharing a couple of, like, I was just handful of sausages and he was taking them, I was like, this way, I was like, that's brilliant.
We had a really big win, and it was I think it was in the daytime actually, and we were walking a relatively quiet route, and we were just on our way back. It was only a quick toilet trip, and we were walking back, and his absolute arch nemesis was coming up the road in the other direction. It's a big wire-haired pointer called Oscar, who he never had a problem with. Oscar used to bark at him when he was a puppy, but now he sort of remembers that, I think, and he just goes bonkers at Oscar. Anyway, we saw Oscar coming, and that was the day when all the sausage was virtually rammed up his nose. I was like, eat the sausage, eat the sausage, eat the sausage. And we managed to divert and shot off to the left, only to be confronted by a tiny dachshund zipping about on a long lead. So we had to do it again and then shoot down a guinnel. But we did it. We absolutely did it. And I was with my daughter at the time. It was hilarious because she was saying, oh mum, shit, there's another one. And we just had to keep like, let's go a different direction. So that was a 2-0 win to us. That was a really, really good, unbelievable. And we would never have managed that before if I hadn't have been using the techniques that I'd picked up on that challenge. And then another day I had to take my daughter for a hospital visit, and Leo was with us, so I was walking him in a completely strange area, and we actually got by 7 dogs at close quarters on pavements and in gardens without him kicking off once. Brilliant. Again, using the sausage and the turning around and the nipping in a different direction and getting his attention and sort of diverting catastrophe, if you like. So there were 2 days of really big wins.
Fantastic. And that was just with the basic stuff as well.
That was just with the basic stuff on your free challenge. Yeah.
Incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Mind saying that, you worked bloody hard at that challenge and you showed up and you stayed accountable for it every day, because I think it was the barking dog challenge first, wasn't it? And then the loose lead.
Yeah, we did the both. Yeah. So it was like 60. The first, were there two 30-day challenges?
Yeah, one was
November and December.
Yeah, something like that. You basically did 8 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Of daily showing up, whether that was garden work, sniffing work.
Yeah.
You drilled what we were teaching, and I love people that do that. Not just because I can go out and train dogs every day because it's what I do, but when you put in that extra effort, this is where you start to see results. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, there's no point in investing my time in listening to what you're saying if I don't put it into practice. It's a waste of your time and my time, really. So and I want results with him, and I want an easier life than we've got at the moment with him dragging me all over the show. So if I don't put in the effort, nothing's going to change.
Exactly. And I tell you what, he is a strong dog. I was like, I'll take him for you, Kim. I was like, oh.
I shouldn't have laughed. I shouldn't have laughed when you did that, but I did, because I was expecting that you'd be able to hold him, that it's just me that's a weak and feeble bugger. But because I thought, oh no, Claire will be able to hack it because she's used to dealing with a bloody big German Shepherd. But no, he set off and you went with him, and I thought, oh God, it's not just me.
I swear to God, my 2 shepherds at full pelt would not be half the strength of the other. It's like, whoa, I can see what you mean. But Labradors, they can be bloody strong anyway.
He's unbelievably strong.
Right, this is what we're faced against. Okay, I've got you now. Cool. I wanted to pick up on something that you said. I think it was the barking dog challenge, and you said something along the lines of like looking at the whole picture. So in the way that I train, yes, people come to me with a problem with their dog generally, but I also don't just look at the dog, I look at the human as well. Do you want to share a little bit into your experiences, what you said about that before? If you remember exactly, then just
I can't remember what I said, Claire.
I've got.
Do you know what?
I'll tag
Do
it
you
up.
know what I said? I told you I'm nearly 60.
I'll tag the recording on the end. But you mentioned something about how looking at the humans' behavior, but also emotions and the transition between owner and dog as a whole, and that nobody had ever done that before, basically.
Yeah, that's very true. It's not just about Leo getting the training, it's about me getting the training, and it's about me having the confidence that I can make the changes. And that's hugely important, because if I haven't got any confidence, he's certainly not going to get any. Because they're really good at picking up on your emotion. If I'm upset about something, he'll come over and he'll sit with me and he'll put his head on my knee, so he knows exactly how I'm feeling. So it makes sense that if I'm stressing when we go out for a walk, he's going to know that too. And I although I knew that he could pick up on my emotions, it hadn't really occurred to me that I might be making matters worse when we're out and about by tensing on the lead and maybe reacting before he does, because I might have said, maybe I'm acting a bit like Charlie. She barks to tell him there's something there. I'd tighten up on the lead and he knows something's there. Mm-hmm. Or there are certain phrases that I might use and he automatically knows that there's a dog in the vicinity, because he starts looking, even though I'm not saying, oh, look over there, there's a dog. I might just be saying, oh, look at this. Then he'll think, oh, something's about, she wants my attention. Mm-hmm. So he's not daft at all. And, picks up on verbal cues. He picks up on my body language. He picks up on the tension on the lead. So it's about that was quite a revelation, really. So I've got to change everything about me before I can change anything about him.
We won't change all of you, Kim, because you're absolutely the way you are. But it's a factor, isn't it? I say
it's a massive factor. Yeah, it's about building my confidence. And if anything, that I've gained that by this interaction with the group. Because before I came across you and the group, I felt very isolated, and I felt like, I'm the only person in the village who's got a batshit crazy dog that barks at other dogs, and people look at you so disapprovingly and you think, oh my God, what are they thinking? I mean, I don't bother about that now. I don't give a damn now. But I know now that I'm not on my own, and there's a whole group of other people with reactive dogs for whatever reason they're reactive, and we can talk together and we can share one another's wins and we can commiserate when we have bad days. And it's a really, really lovely community, and I feel a bit less isolated with him and his problem now as a result of the group. So that's given me confidence too, actually.
Community is huge, isn't it? And we've got such a cracking community where there is no negativity, and we're like, people are always building each other up, like you say.
Yeah, nobody's judging. No judgment at all, his reactions might be down to me reacting, but nobody's going to say, well, you're making things worse.
Exactly, yeah.
And I might be some days I might have anticipated, not let him make a decision.
Yeah, that's easy done. That's humans. We wanted, because I've been super guilty of it in the past, more so with Digger, because I know the damage he can do, and because a lot of people with barking dogs don't want the dog to get into that behavior because they know what's coming, or they think they know what's coming. We're very, very quick to intercept. I was with Digger. I'd often pick him up because I'm not having you rip a dog's throat out. Yeah. Whereas really, if we just if we put trust in the work that we've done, and we've got everything's right distance wise and stuff like that, then we can just give them that second or two to make a choice, can't we?
Yeah, that's made a big difference to the way I handle him, actually giving him a couple of minutes to stand and look and make the decision to turn away and come with me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have to intercept by saying, come on, let's move, but there's more of the verbal cues to get him to come away rather than madly pulling on the lead trying to drag him away, which is what I'd resorted to in the past.
Yeah, which can push them into a reaction, can't it?
Yeah.
Good stuff. What else did I want to ask you? So actually, yeah, I know. So I know we're quite early in our in-person sessions. You come to work with me, and we're actually working in safe settings at the minute. But
Have we had 3? I think we've had 3, haven't we?
Oh, I don't know. It'll tell me on the schedule. I think it will be, yeah, because we did one on his own, one with Jack,
Sky.
one with Sky.
Oh no, we had one with decoy. Maybe it's 4. Yeah, one with the decoy dogs, and and then one with
my girls.
Yeah, Lily and Sky. Yeah.
I don't know, but we're early into the program anyway, aren't we? But do you feel like you're better equipped in heading to where you want to be with him opposed to where you were?
Yes, absolutely. Oh God, yeah. As opposed to where we were, yeah. I'm an awful lot more confident in handling him. That's one thing. The second thing is that instead of hiding away in the garden now, we're actually going outside. We are taking, like I said, I do have to take him out morning and night for toilet visits, and we do the quickest route ever. That's least likely to have anybody on it. But now we are building him up a bit at a time every day, going down to the village green where all the action is. So there'll be kids running around on bikes and scooters. There'll be push chairs. I mean, at the moment now people can meet. There's groups of people with garden chairs sitting in groups of 6. All the dogs go on the village green. So it can be an absolute hive of activity. There's bikes going by, there's cars going by. So there's lots of stuff that he might react to. But we're going down there every day in the afternoon. First day we went 5 minutes. Next day we went for 6. The next day we went for 7. So we just added a minute and a couple more paces into the green each day, and handling whatever comes our way, be it an off lead dog, be it a dog on a lead mile away, be it a dog on a lead just across the road, be it a car backfiring or whatever. So we just have to manage what hits us each day. Now, if you'd have said to me 3 weeks ago I'd be doing that, I would have laughed at you, because I wouldn't have wanted to try, because I would have thought, oh my God, I won't be able to handle him. But I've got some tips and tricks now, and some ideas up my sleeve, that if he does kick off, things I can do. And do you know what, it's not the end of the world if he does kick off and I can't, as long as I don't let go of the little sod. But it's just, but if he kicks off, and people stare, so what?
Yeah, so the other people. And if he does struggle, then, like for me, and what I kind of drill into the members as well, is it's information for them.
Well, yeah, that's right. It'll teach me something.
Yeah.
It'll show me either the distance is too near, or maybe it was a dog that was moving too quick, or maybe he's reacted to a noise of some description. And as you say, it'll give me more information and to know what he might react to next time.
Yeah, and there's like multiple reasons, isn't there? But I mean, I like to put it in that way as well, because it's very easy for humans as a whole to go down a whole negativity route. Oh, we've had a bad day, a bad walk, a bad this, it was this, that, and it's so easy for us to filter into that land, isn't it? Myself included. So where we look at it from a different perspective, right, that's information for us. What was happening? What was going wrong? Where can we improve, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
So that's brilliant that you're getting out there. And mind you, I'd expect no less. You're an elite member. Yeah, you're going to go at it. I love it. So you might have already mentioned this, but what would you say would be the main learning point for you so far in working with Leo, be that in person or online or anything?
Do you know what? There's been so many things. It's hard to say which would be the biggest thing. I mean, one of the big things was that you can't deal with 2 dogs at once, which hadn't occurred to me, that it was going to be impossible to sort Leo out if I was also walking Charlie at the same time. So for quite a long time, I was taking 2 of them out and getting nowhere. So that was a big takeaway, that I needed to have my full attention on him. And that's been quite difficult to do, because it means that my husband and I are walking the dog separately. So there's a bit of a fracture down the middle, and he walks Charlie and I walk Leo. Except this last week or two, I've been getting up really early in the morning to get Leo out and then take Charlie separately. So I've been able to do some loose lead walk training with her first thing in the morning, which she's loving because she's quite addicted to this JR Pate that we're using. So yeah, she's extremely attentive, and her loose lead walking is absolutely phenomenal. So the two dogs. Another big thing to take away was to celebrate the wins and not focus on the negative things. You know, that guest speaker you had, was it Janet?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Who talked about playing a game every time you go out,
right,
like a football game. And if you manage to get past a problem without any issues, then you've won a goal. So we actually do that every time we go out. So we come back with a score. You know, it might be 2-0 or it could be 2-10. You never know. but we come back with a score. So we celebrate the little wins. And I think that's important to build my confidence and stop me thinking that everything's negative. What else? Oh, we've just taken away so much from it so far. The other thing that I didn't think about before was to let him be a dog. To let him sniff, let him spend time. You know, it doesn't matter if I'm standing there for 10 minutes while he sniffs the spot, because it's 10 minutes of him not barking at another dog or not reacting to something, or, you know, not getting anxious about something. So I do spend a lot more time loitering on street corners now, letting the dog sniff. I'm sure people think I'm a suspicious character going around the village, because I don't actually walk around the village. We just stop and sniff for 5 minutes and then walk a few paces and stop for another 5 minutes. So they must think I'm either mad or well, I don't know what they think.
Sure they don't. Even if they watch the interview, then they'll completely understand. So just share it with them. Some really key takeaways there, and all of great importance, really. Now we've not really spoken much about evolution. We've spoken about the community and stuff, but as part of Elite, you get access to evolution. Do you want to quickly sum that up and how you kind of finding that? Because there's a lot of stuff in there, isn't there?
There is an absolute stack of stuff in there, and I haven't been able to do it justice, really, because there's so much. In actual fact, I think I asked you where I should start, because when I first saw all the resources in there, I thought, holy moly, there's such a lot I can learn here. What's going to be best for us to start with now, given the situation that we're in and the problems that we've got. So I followed the guidance that you gave me and watched the 3 that you suggested. Now I'm going to have to rack my brains now for which ones you suggested that I did. One was the predatory sequence. I can't remember what the other 2 were.
Probably be one.
Anyway, but there were 3, and they were really cool, and you can go back to it again. That's the good thing about it, is the videos, you can go back again and again and again and remind yourself, because as you move along and you're doing different kinds of training for different things, unless you're doing it all the time, you forget the process. So the big benefit of evolution is you can go back in and pick the video again and watch it again, and then refresh your training for certain areas, and that's been an absolute bonus. And that's otherwise I'd have been ringing you up every 5 minutes saying, Claire, I can't remember how to do this, or you know. But the fact I've got you at the tip tappy at the end of my fingers, I can dial up a video of Claire telling me exactly what I need to do, which is great.
Yeah. And that's what it's, especially like evolution, that's what it's created for. It's like a resource for people to be able to dip into what they wanted. Like, obviously, you know, if it's reactivity, right, I'm going to focus on this. There's a couple of guys working on the heel work and the tracking and different forms and different skills and stuff. But I do appreciate that, because of the vast amount of stuff in there, it's very easy to get overwhelmed, isn't it? And
yes, I first looked at it and I didn't know where to start, and I thought, oh God, I can't cope with that. And then I didn't look at it for a couple of weeks. And I thought, well, this is really silly because this is a massive resource that I could start using. Why don't you just ask where to start? So that's when I sent you a message and said, look, Claire, I'm a bit overwhelmed. Where shall I start?
It's like going to the gym, isn't it? Like, I mean, I'm not really a gym goer, but I went once and I kind of looked around at all of the stuff that I had available to me. I'm like, well, I'll just use the treadmill because that's what I know how to use. And it never occurred to me whilst I was there to go and ask or pay for a personal assistant. Never occurred to me. And that was the same sort of feeling.
Yeah.
I imagine you guys maybe similar, but you know, you've got the amount of stuff. It's like, I don't know how to use it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Just ask.
Well, I still forget about the forum. I haven't updated the. I'll do that later.
Good luck. You've just reminded yourself.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Finally, would you recommend it?
Oh God, yes, I would. Absolutely. Because if I hadn't have found you and started work with you, we'd have still been going out in the village and having massive reactions and me dreading going out every day, and just spending my life having to be a ninja. And I don't want that. I want to make a change, and without you we wouldn't be making any changes at all. So yes, highly recommend.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Well, as I say in my book, in order for the dogs to change, we have to change ourselves, don't we? And that can be a small bit, it can be quite a lot, but I'm really you're enjoying it. And I have thoroughly enjoyed this interview, Kim. There's been like masses, and like just being reminded of your story as well, and the pain that you were in both physically and mentally. It's such a massive point, isn't it? And you kind of took me right back to where I was with Titan, because it was so difficult with a strong dog lunging and barking. It's very stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd come home some days and cry because it had been so horrendous. You know, Charlie would be all barking and, you know, going bonkers because she was highly aroused because of what had gone on, and he'd be subdued and, you know, knowing, I don't know whether he knew that it was disastrous, but he must be able to pick up on the fact that I was feeling dreadful. And I'd come home and cry and think, God, what am I going to do tomorrow? Where can we go tomorrow where I'm not going to see anybody? And it was just a night. No, it's not an ideal existence. No, not at all.
Exactly. We would get a dog to be able to go and enjoy it, well, just like you, just why you got Leo, you know, go out and
exactly,
wherever you want to.
So what really makes me cross is that it's all been caused by two bloody dogs that were off lead and not under the control of their owner, and it really, really, really makes me angry, because, you know, we needn't have been in this situation. For some really, you know, people just not thinking and not controlling the dogs.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? And I'm cautious of not going into that topic, because I will be here for another hour with you, because it's such a huge problem, isn't it? And like you say, it's kind of been the cause of where you're at the minute. Maybe just a nice little reminder for people, you know, that actually the thing that I loved about a couple of guys in Evolution as well is that they came in with more sociable dogs just to do some training. But I think it was Nikki with Ziggy who said, actually, you know, reading your posts, and not just yours posts, but everyone's posts about their barking dogs, has really highlighted to her to keep Ziggy with her, you know. And she openly admitted, she was like, I wouldn't have thought twice, because Ziggy, you know, I've never been in that situation. So whilst some people just don't give a crap, I think there are a lot of people who aren't probably aware of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that you're right. There are a lot of people that aren't aware, and loads of people say, oh, but my dog's friendly, you know, it's and I'll say, yeah, but, you know, I can't guarantee that this one will be if you come too close.
Yeah,
you know.
And then the reactive owner that's in the wrong, isn't it? Or reactive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It gets very emotional and worrying. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because I can go off into a tangent. Now, Kim, before we go, you make some incredibly amazing dog collars, leads, bandanas. Where can people go and find out more about you and what you do?
Okay. Well, when I retired from being a nurse, when we got Charlie, I started making pretty collars for her, because everybody thought she was a boy because she was called Charlie. So it started as a bit of a hobby and is now my full-time business. And you can find me on www.leocharlieandme.co.uk. That's my website. I'm on Instagram and on Twitter and Facebook as Leo, Charlie and me, and you can see all my stuff there.
And you've just won a couple of awards, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Play it.
Last week, the week before last, it was a pretty stupendous week. I managed to win the Theo Paphitis Small Business Sunday Award. So I'm part of a group of small businesses who get advice and support from Theo Paphitis and his crew, which is just phenomenal. And then that was a week last Sunday, and then is it Sunday today? It is, isn't it?
Yes.
That was 2 weeks ago. And then last Sunday, I won an Animal Star Award for being the best pest related business in 2020. So part and parcel of that is because I raised money for Spaniel Aid UK, which is the charity that saved Charlie, because at 14 months, Charlie was taken to the vets to be put to sleep because she was an aggressive dog that was lame. Fortunately, the vet wasn't convinced at the story, and persuaded the owners to relinquish her to a charity, rescue charity, instead of putting her to sleep. And he put it to them that it would cost them money to put her to sleep, but they could relinquish her to a charity for free. And so that's what they chose to do. And we were lucky enough, out of 150 applicants for Charlie, we were the lucky family that was picked to adopt her. Where's she gone? She was here a minute ago. And she was the catalyst to me starting to make collars. And as a result, we now donate 15% of everything we sell to Spaniel Aid, because it's a volunteer run charity. They don't get any national funding at all. And it's just run by a band of really lovely volunteers. So we're just delighted to be able to support them in any way we can for saving this gorgeous girl I've got here down by my feet. And last year I managed to donate to them £1,750. So I just want to keep on doing that. So that's fingers crossed.
Two times award winner and a charity supporter through your own business. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's been despite the fact we've been in lockdown, it's been a good year for the business, really. And it's kept me focused and stopped me dwelling too much on the fact that I've been housebound for 12 months, because I've been shielding, because the medication that I take makes me one of the clinically vulnerable. So I've had to stay in these four walls for almost 12 months. The only visits I ever did was to the post box to post the parcels that people were ordering. So
there's a light in the tunnel though, isn't there?
There is. I've had my first vaccine, and hopefully the second one isn't too far away, and then hopefully we'll be good to go.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Just ready for the summer as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Brilliant stuff, Kim. Well, it's been absolutely phenomenal chatting to you. And
no, thank you for having me.
No, thank you. It's been my pleasure. Go and check out Leo, Charlie and me, because the things that she does is absolutely brilliant. And you make our elite collars as well now, don't you? And
yes, that's true.
Beyond happy with. So thank you very much, Kim. It's been cracking hearing your story and hearing where you're at. For anyone who's listening, if you can relate to any of this, or you perhaps want to find out a little bit more, then at the minute I've got a free copy. You can claim a free copy of my You Be Barking Mad Not To book by signing up from the website. So if you head to www.3sts.co.uk, you can get your free copy. It'll be in your inbox within minutes. And if you're super keen and you want to come and see what Kim and the gang are up to, then you can sign up for Evolution from that website as well. Right, we'll leave it there. I drew a complete brain blank there at the end. Thank you very much, Kim. I will leave you to go and enjoy.
You're welcome. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.